All right, let's pick up and try and finish that example. My phone's being finicky on me again today. So I was saying I did not put a degree on the 28 because up here there's already a degree symbol in that expression, so I don't need another degree symbol on the value of x. All right, lastly we have our y's left. Y is on this side up here and this side down here. Because they are opposite sides and we know it's a parallelogram, then we know they are going to be congruent. So we know that negative 6y plus 91 has to have the same value as 4y minus 9. And then we can just solve that equation. So I'm going to move the negative out of there because I don't like negative with my variable. So negative 6y plus 6y is 0. It's gone. 91 equals 4y plus 6y is 10y. Bring down the minus 9. Need to get that y variable alone. So we end up with 100 equals 10y. Then divide by 10. And 10 turns out to be our value for y. So a was 10 inches, x was 28, and y is 10. We don't have a label for that one either. All right, last example, we have MATH is a parallelogram. Find the value of each variable. So taking a look at our piece of information, we have the fact that we have an angle here and an angle here that are on opposite angles, but they're not the full opposite angle, right? I know that this entire angle, like the whole thing, if I were to color it in, that whole thing is going to measure 110 degrees. Why do I know that? Because these two angles have to add up to 180 because they're consecutive. And I know then that this angle, the whole angle A, would also need to be 110 degrees, but that's not where the markings are. So I want to take you back to something you learned back in 8th grade and then probably again in Math 1, that when you are talking about parallel lines, you can cut them with a transversal. And when you cut those lines with a transversal, you end up making alternate interior angles that are congruent. So this top and this bottom, okay, so this top of the transversal, this bottom of the transversal are going to be alternate interior angles. That means they have to be the same. So 4x plus 18 has to have the same value as 7x minus 6. Let's see, I'll move the smaller one so we have a positive value. So 4x minus 4x is 0, then copy 18, 7x minus 4x is 3x, copy minus 6. Let's get that term alone, so we'll add our 6. That gives me 24 equals 3x. Negative 6 plus 6 was 0. Divide by our 3's and we get 8 as the value of x. Now if I had been asked to do anything else, I could take that x, I could plug it in. 7 times 8 is 56, 56 minus 6 is 50, so that part of the angles needs to be 50. The same thing should happen up here. 4 times 8 is 32, 32 plus 18 is 50. Now I also would know then that this part has to be 60 degrees, right? It's not cut in half. They're going to have to add up to 110, and I also would know that this angle down here, because it's opposite angle M, would also be 70 degrees. So we could actually fill in all of those angle measures simply by knowing that those alternate interior angles were congruent. Hopefully today you won't have too many questions. You're going to be using the properties that we talked about, so have that hand ready, filled in, and then you're going to use some of them to basically just identify a length, and then you're going to use others to solve an equation or set up an equation so you can solve it to find a length.